It may surprise you to know that 6 out of 10 people in Northern Ireland get what is referred to as the payday blues. And it's causing more tension than relief, because I would have thought when your pay packet's going into your salary and into your bank account, you'd be happy. But not so. Neil Shah is joining me. He's head of Stress Management Society. Very good morning to you, Neil.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm grand, thank you. What about yourself?
Wonderful, thank you.
I think another clean shirt will do me here the way I'm talking. But I am very surprised that people get stressed when it's payday.
We were also very surprised. This study we did with Atom Bank was an interesting revelation, because you'd think that the money drops into your bank account and you'd be relieved because the balance is all topped up. But what we found is that's also the point where you're furthest away from the next payday. Also, beginning of the month is when most of the direct debits come out, and the mortgage or the rent and the bills and that kind of thing. And very quickly you're seeing that balance diminishing, and people are getting increasingly stressed and panicky, wondering how they're going to get to the end of the month.
That now makes sense.
Yeah, and I think one of the other things that we learned from this study is that there are a lot of young people out there that just don't understand how to manage their finances. They don't even understand basic banking terms. 3/4 of 18 to 24-year-olds don't understand simple terms like ATM and direct debit or ISA. And with that in mind, that if you don't understand some of the terms, you don't understand how to budget, a simple solution for a lot of people is you just bury their head in the sand and just not think about it. That doesn't make the problem go away. In fact, the longer you stop looking at the demon, the bigger the demon gets in your head.
That is so true. And also, as you say, with younger people, the first pay packet coming in, the excitement, and you just want to blow it.
Absolutely. And that's why you'll see there's a lot of people that do advertising or promotions around payday, because they know people's bank balances are full, and it's quite easy to convince them to go out and spend it.
And I believe you've got Claire from Atom Bank there with you. Can I have a quick word with Claire as well?
Hi.
Hello, Claire. Claire, you've carried out this research, and obviously, whenever people are coming to you to open an account or take money out, you must have to deal with them on a very personal level and find out just how they are going to cope with money coming in and money going out.
Absolutely. What we're trying to do at Atom Bank is really make sure that customers feel in control of their spending. And I think that that's part of the problem that's causing the stress here. So we're talking about customers having everyday control and really keeping an eye on what it is that they're spending their money on, so that they can feel less of that stress that comes from the spiralling effect as they go through the course of the month.
Does it make your fingers curl and blood boil whenever you see these ads going on the telly saying, oh, well, here, we'll give you a payday loan?
Oh, these payday loans are just terrible for people. They prey on the people who can't really afford to take them out, but they tap into an ever-growing need to buy things. And I think what we're really trying to do here at Atom is we're an app-only bank. People can have this in their pocket. If you've got a couple of minutes here and there, instead of looking at your Twitter account or your Facebook, get your app out and have a look at Atom and have a look at your money, and we'll help you to try and make things better. So one of the things we want to do is tell you things like, oh, people like you are only spending this much on their electricity bill as opposed to what you're spending. Why don't you think about switching and really tapping into the wider elements of your financial management?
And there has been, I know you're talking about the technology and an app, but a lot of people do feel that life was a lot easier when you could actually just go into the bank and sit and meet somebody face to face. But does the app sort of act like the person that's giving you the advice, that it is almost like you're feeling that there's a friendly face at the end of this app talking to me? That's
absolutely the intention of Atom. It's that you can have a very personal relationship with your bank, even though you're not sitting down and talking to someone face to face. And actually the beauty of this is you can do it any time. Atom is there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. So you can get in and you can do it at a time that suits you, instead of having to try and shoehorn it in your lunch break from work, or, having to get someone to look after the kids so that you can go and see the bank manager. This is about fitting in around people's lifestyles rather than them having to fit in around the banks.
And if Neil is still there, Neil, do you find that people do prefer to have this sort of information at their fingertips 24/7? Does it help relieve the stress knowing that, gosh, suddenly at midnight, gosh, I need to check my account?
What we've got to bear in mind, we live in an app-driven world. This is the swipe right generation. This is people that are living their lives on their phones. Now, if we know that's the case, and the first thing that most people do when they wake up in the morning is check their phone, the last thing they do at night is check their phone. In fact, a study by the University of Greenwich found that 23% of smartphones in the UK have got fecal matter on them because people are sat on the toilet checking their phones. Now, if that's the case, and we know that to be the truth, well, why not deliver the information they need to know to be able to better equip themselves to cope with the challenge they're facing, particularly financial ones, in a way that is meaningful to them via their app? And this is where I think the traditional banking sector may have been a little bit slow. I've struggled to get the information I need readily available up until recently, where banks have started to cotton onto this. And it's great that Atom Bank have got some blue skies thinking around this and ensuring that people have access to the information they need and also have access to the financial education to be able to better plan their finances so we can address the root causes of why we feel stressed rather than the symptoms.
I can just see an app flashing up, go and buy loo paper. But it is a very stressful time. I mean, I know that, whenever I would be the one that, also I'll hold my hands up saying, oh gosh, I haven't had a good month this month. And I will avoid looking at my bank account because out of sight, out of mind. And that's what you're saying we are doing. And we're so good at that.
Of course, and it's easier to avoid the issue. However, we then find that we're spending 90% of our time worrying about things that may never happen. If we can be proactive about this, if we can actually take action to stop burying our head in the sand, and also make it okay to talk about our finances. One of the things that we learned from this study is that more than 3 million people admit to lying to their partner about the state of their finances. We also know that many relationships break up because of financial pressures. So this is how it's having an impact on our lives. And, to the point where, almost a third of people in our study said that they feel nervous or physically sick when they check their bank balance. That's a scary statistic.
Absolutely. And if you are getting into problems, if it is just becoming too much, go and talk to somebody that one of the free societies, like the consumer credits and places like that, consumer councils, talk to them and they will give you proper advice as opposed to going to one of these payday quick fix loans.
Absolutely. And, talking to people to get the financial support is part of it, but also talking to people about getting the support and dealing with the stress and the emotional pressures. So taking this a step further, one of the things that we're heavily promoting this month is men's health and men's mental health. One of the main reasons for death in a man under the age of 45 in Britain today is suicide. And 76% of successful suicides are men. Men are less likely to talk about their finances or hold their hands up when they're not coping. And I think it's very important that we are ensuring that people are getting the support they need and are okay in asking for help. And this is one of the reasons that we're really happy that we did this study with Atom, because financial stress is one of the biggest pressures that many of us are facing today. And
something that can also be relieved by talking to people and seeking the right advice.
Absolutely, rather than seeking a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Listen, Neil, thank you so much indeed. And Claire, thank you very much indeed for coming on and talking to us today on this National Stress Awareness Day. Let's hope by the end of the day we're a lot less stressed.
Thank you.